Uncle Mud here at Mother Earth News Fair, building an energy stage in sunny Belton, Texas. This is so much nicer than the weather in Cleveland that we had to come down here and play in the mud with everybody and get a new toy. This is the Gamera Rocket Heater from Bulgaria. This is the small version because usually we drive to these in a Prius, and having a small one instead of a big one makes all the difference is how tight it is in the back there when I'm trying to sleep in it. But we wanted to show it off. It's pretty cool. Somewhere here I have a pair of scissors. All right. This is Vanna over here.
Hello everybody. This is the first time unwrapping here.
So these guys in Bulgaria have a laser cutter and all sorts of high-tech equipment to make these amazing rocket heaters. I mean, they're a lot better than the CottageRockets that I build out of used oil drums, but they're also a lot more expensive. But we're working on getting them set up to be brought over into the United States. See, we got a feed tray here. We got our glass inside of there. These are our handy dandy legs for it. That allow you to adjust it to sit level even if your floor isn't. Up top we have a clean out that's got a piece of high temperature glass to allow us to see the pretty fire, but also allows us to pop it off and get in there and clean it if we need to. The one back at our place we haven't needed to clean really. I mean, we clean the glass occasionally, but it burns so cleanly that we really don't have to do much with it. Shall we lift this out?
Just lean it towards me. Down. I'm just putting together the little feet here.
Yep.
It needs to sit up off of your surface.
Take that over.
Come on the other side.
The bottom is insulated to keep it from burning your floor, which is quite handy because most of us don't have concrete floors in our living areas. This is our airflow adjuster. This is our feed tube here. Yeah. You want to look down inside of it with that. This is kind of cool. There's a little handy little guard up here. It's a little clean out door so that you can enjoy the fire and also be able to get this, the ashes out of there easily.
And the match in to light it.
Yeah. So this is handy that it basically uses wood scraps to have a hot, clean fire that then you can run through a thermal mass and store the heat overnight without having to feed it all night. And where I live, these little wood scraps are about $30 a cord as opposed to $300 a cord for white oak for a wood stove. So that makes it a lot less expensive to heat the house. We maybe use $100 a year for heating the house. This is a smaller version. This is called the Tiny. It's made for tiny houses. And there's a bigger one called the Light, and then an even bigger one called the Gamera. We are in the process right now of getting them certified for EPA approval and UL listing for houses in the United States. But they've been certified for use in the European Union, and they work very well for what we're trying to do, which is basically burn a fire out of scrap wood in a way that has no creosote and no soot, and allows us to then store the heat from the exhaust in a thermal mass overnight and slowly release it instead of having to send the heat directly up the chimney. So we're really excited that somebody has put together a commercial rocket heater that can be plugged into a mass and used this way, because most of them right now are hand built from cob and brick and are a little bit of a fight to get approval for. We've done that. We've gotten approval for some of them, but it doesn't always happen. So we've got this other one. This is a local unit. This is built in Missouri. This is the mini version of the Liberator stove, and we've been carrying this around. It's a little beat up, but it's really popular. It's a rocket heater also. The full-size version is UL listed, so you can get insurance on it, installed like it is a wood stove, because it is a wood stove, only it burns cleanly without producing creosote or smoke. And the exhaust comes out clean, so that we can again plug it into a thermal mass battery and efficiently trap almost all of the heat in the house. This is the air intake and the feed tube here. For the scrap wood, and a little place to light the fire down here, and probably shouldn't light it on a plastic drum. Not again.
It also has little feet for getting high up off your floor.
Yeah, because it gets a bit warm down here. So you want it a little bit up off the floor. And then we've got this other one this is our own CottageRocket. I'm not going to open it right now, but this is the homemade version that we sell plans for that you can build for between $100 to $350 in parts. It's a nice one that because it can be adjusted to different uses. For instance, this is a nice version for a small cottage. We're not going to light this right now, but thank you. The feed tube here goes into a rocket heater J tube inside. Actually, where's our heat riser there? This is the burn chamber inside that lets us handle high temperatures without melting or oxidizing the metal. We've also got a another drum down there we can demonstrate. So you want to grab the other drum? Because this is a little too tall. So this is the heat riser. It's an insulated chimney with stainless steel in the middle and then ceramic wool. And this is what makes the whole thing burn nice and hot. And if we want to put this in a workshop where you don't need any mass because you don't care about your tools being warm overnight, then you use a second barrel like this. I've got a flange for these to go together, but this doesn't hook on very well. But basically that'll let the heat come up and radiate out at you and get you warm pretty much instantly while you're working in the shop, and then when you stop feeding it, it cools down pretty quick. We could also fill this entire thing with cob or bricks to give us a thermal mass, so that if you had this in your cottage, for instance, that it would still be warm in the morning. So that replaces the large thermal mass bench, or you could plug this into a thermal mass bench using the exhaust here to get as much heat out of it as we can before we send it outside. So this can be made relatively cheaply with used drums, scrap metal, and some fire brick. These are much better put together, also much more expensive, but they all do what we want to do, which is to burn wood, cheap scrap wood, cleanly and efficiently, and warm our spaces. So you can find us motherearthnewsfair.com if you want to see when we're going to be talking about rocket heaters and cob and straw bales and composting toilets and such, or visit us on Facebook at Uncle Mud or unclemud.com and see what we're up to. Thank you.